Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Streaming Rainbow, a home away from home for nerds, weirdos, and queerdos. I am Serafina Smith, the GM for Halley's Children, and this is episode 2 of Halley's Children Heaven's Eye. With me, representing humanity today, are my players. We have Cameron playing Anoush. Anoush has been a natural philosopher, an inventor, a builder, a metallurgist, and so much more. We have David playing Habfor. Habfor has devoted much of his long life to justice and social engineering and has helped to shape the world by doing so. We have Eli playing Ida. Ida has spent much of their life in a search for identity and belonging and aiding others in their own similar journeys. And we have Courtney playing Jelena. Jelena has moved through history more quietly than her husband Habfor, perhaps, but no less efficaciously. Today, these characters make first contact. We'll see how that goes in a minute. First, we're going back to Normandy, 1059. We see a young pagan in charge of a dockyard gang of child thugs, just parentless street trash like him, shaking down youths for their coin, occasionally working odd jobs for whoever needs something done or somebody roughed up. Pagan's parents, he's been told, died of a fever before he could be baptized, and so the monks at the monastery had named him Pagan. We see Pagan as a stocky kid, bossing the other kids around through the intimidation, never afraid to step up and use his muscle to back up his word. He's the king of the dockyards, and likely to grow into a life of organized crime, except that one day he's grabbed off the street and drafted unceremoniously into an army that William is gathering to invade England. Pagan does well in the army. He quickly realizes that it's all about who's shouting at who, and he is determined to become one of the shouters very quickly. A bit of work, a bit of bribery, and a bit of intimidation later, we see him giving orders once again. Working for someone else this time, yes, but he does get to shout a lot, and being in the Conquering King's army is nothing to turn up your nose at. We skip forward to the army's arrival at Hastings. Richard gives the responsibility of pacifying the town to Robert of View, who chooses Pagan apparently at random, tells him to get 3 men and get the city into order. Moving ahead through Hastings, we're on a boat now. Pagan is surrounded by the people he has helped to oppress and to kidnap. His mind is invaded. He expects to die. He finds mercy instead, which it will take him a very long time to understand. He settles into the life of a personal bodyguard to the strange, manic philosopher and his occasional ghostly visitor. He learns more about the world and how things work than he ever even began to imagine before. Maths, histories, languages. At first he learns because he has to, then to stave off boredom, and finally simply because it's fun. He doesn't realize he's in love for a very long time. The sex at first is casual, then cathartic, eventually ardent. He's building a sense of self, but it's one that depends on his role as protector and caregiver to Anoush. Which is hard for him when, as we fast forward hundreds of years, Anoush pushes him firmly away to live alone and prepare himself for the Ticonderoga starfall. We see Pagan staying nearby, alone but attached, his life now one big question he has no answer for. We see him then, after the events of Ticonderoga, flying away, filled with a freedom he's never known. Something about flying opens his horizons, sets him free from the orphan boy who only knew he needed the strength to threaten and the resilience to survive. We zoom ahead, and now Pagan is back in Normandy, this time in the British forces on Juno Beach. He's a sergeant, and he's in charge of coordination with the French resistance. We see him meeting in secret with Gilgamesh, 2 men in defiance of orders from their leader, but unable to defy their conscience. Ahead again, we see Pagan flying in Central Park now, swooping in and stopping an assault. He takes the mugger up into the air and lets him know bluntly that if he ever tries to harm anyone again, Pagan will find him, and that flight won't end softly. Then we see him hanging out on a rooftop, eating a bagel. A door to the rooftop opens, and a boy of perhaps 12 years comes out and sees the superhero, wearing his customary sport coat and Superman t-shirt. The boy's eyes go wide, and we watch his expression as he goes from, holy crap, there's an unexpected man on our roof, to, holy crap, is that actually a superhero? and he visibly has to contain his excitement as he approaches. His voice when he finds it, though, is doubting. "Are you the New York Superman?" His face is the picture of dubiousness, with maybe a little hope peeking through. Pagan turns and smiles at him. "That's me." The boy hesitantly takes a seat beside him. He doesn't seem to know where to look, so he settles for staring at his hands. Eventually he speaks. "Are you one of the metas? They said on TV that metas are dangerous." Pagan finishes chewing his last bite of bagel before he speaks. "Everybody's dangerous. Important question is, are we people? If we are, we should be treated fairly. What do you think?" The boy ponders that deeply for a moment, and then, "Well, you're eating a bagel like a person." We see Pagan nod as though he found the words significant. "Guess I must be a person then. Do you think I'm dangerous?" This time the boy does not hesitate. "I think you're the good kind of dangerous, the kind bad guys are afraid of." That makes Pagan grin. "That's right." He stands, brushing crumbs off of his sport jacket. "And I'm here to make the world a better place." We see the amazement in the boy's eyes as Pagan lifts off, tossing a thumbs up to one of the many lives he'll touch that day. Much later, we see Pagan watching television on the couch in Anoush's New York home, his bare feet resting on an ottoman. He watches with dewy eyes as the newscaster announces the ratification of HB 3001, colloquially known as the New York Superman Act, abolishing the Meta Registry and ensuring Meta's equal protection under the law. Tears fall down Pagan's face as the woman speaks. He can no longer hear the words he's crying too hard. This is it. He's really done it. Really made a difference, big and small. Most recently, we see Pagan sitting in a small, cozy room in the university, speaking with Hurt, Jelena, and a few others who have joined him there. His eyes are downcast as he speaks, his voice low and steady. "I saw Auschwitz. Not while it was in use, but soon enough after. When you see that much concentrated human evil and the people that resisted it, it changes you. Or it did me anyway. I cried there more than I ever cried in all my years. I think part of me might still be crying. But that pain is strength, too. It helps me to value kindness, helps me to value everyone. In exchange, though, it demands an utter resolution to never let evil rise unresisted, never close my eyes to it, to do what's in my power to defeat it wherever it comes up. Sometimes that power is expressed with a fist, sometimes with a word, sometimes with a hug. I'm privileged, really, to be able to do so much without having to worry about getting hurt. And I don't know entirely how all this relates to humanity's worth, except to say that I've seen the results of not valuing humanity, and that's not a road I want to go down." And finally, we see Pagan here, with all of you, at Heaven's Eye. Time has put a lightness in his gaze and a spring in his step that have come to define him, even when times are hard. And he stands ready as the final button is pressed and the telescope activates. We pull back and see the scene. A gathering of empowered in the work building of the giant radio telescope stand waiting with a single held breath for what comes next. And what comes next is a bright light and a booming voice. "Welcome, chosen representatives. We have waited ages to speak with you. We are your neighbors. We are eager to open beneficial relations with your kind. However, we must first ask you one question." As the sentence finishes, the light resolves into a translucent figure, human in appearance and semi-transparent. And behind it, a creature vaguely ovoid, 3 feet long from one end to another, with no defined head or other segmentation, just a single body with 6 large cricket-like legs, 2 at the front and 2 at the back for ambulation, and 1 on either side for manipulation. Compound eyes circle its body. You might want to classify it as an arthropod because of its insect-like legs, compound eyes, and exoskeleton. But looking at it, it is clear that it comes from a biome that never developed the same classifications of life that we see on Earth. The voice comes from the human figure, which seems to be translating for the alien one. When the alien speaks, it rubs one pair of its walking legs together. The sound is reminiscent of a cello, but more stuttery. The human figure continues in a less booming voice. I am a translator program. Please direct your speech to the being behind me, and I will convey the response. Translation begins. First, congratulations to you all on your long and successful journey throughout your race's growth as a civilization. It was necessary that the representatives be granted a sufficient experience of humanity's growth in order to make a considered decision. It was necessary that the representatives be varied in origin in order to avoid cultural bias. And so here you all are, from different origins across your history, to act as those representatives. You've been given elongated lives and the power to survive difficult times, all so that we may ask you a question. The alien, you see, spreads its side legs out, and the translator seems to mimic the gesture, spreading its arms out as though in offering. You see, we are here to offer humanity galactic citizenship. This means having a branch of the Galactic Library on your planet, by which you will discover the means to improve yourselves. It offers a choice on when you reproduce, when you die, immunity to most disease, the technology to go to the stars, and to explore the infinitesimal. But we can only offer this to a species that has earned the right by growing into beings that will make the galaxy better by their presence. Beings who are worthy of galactic citizenship and the knowledge and power it conveys. And so we have chosen all of you, and we ask you this question. Is humanity worthy? And as his voice soars and takes on a timbre you recognize from Hill's voice, you are all caught up as though paralyzed, as you are connected, and your minds are probed for the question that you must answer. And so this is how this works. Your mind will be probed for your deep and honest thoughts on the subject of humanity's worthiness. You can, however, wrest control of your mind, and although you will still have to answer, you may answer however you wish, honestly or dishonestly, if you succeed on a will roll with the difficulty of fantastic. So, we'll be taking turns, and y'all can either choose one of you or one of our NPCs to go. You have a list of everyone available to speak, and everyone will have their chance. I've rolled for our NPCs in advance, so I know who has control of their own words and who does not. Everyone has a certain number of clicks of the counter, depending on how long they've been alive. And I'll be adding them white for unworthy and black for worthy as we go. When every character is gone, we'll look and see what the result is. So, how would you like to do this? Who shall we hear from first?
I want to hear Gilgamesh first.
I have no objection to that.
Yeah.
We look at Gilgamesh, and we find him standing proud, certain. We feel his presence strongly here, as though his millennia of life had a physical presence, a weight here in this place, in this moment. There's not a shadow of doubt in his expression. He knows his answer. And he says, "When I began my second life, I sought glory and comfort. But over the millennia, I have learned many lessons. You ask us if humanity is worthy of the gifts you say you can bring. I say humanity is not only worthy, it is sacred. It possesses energy unending to create. That energy can be corrupted, yes. We are our own worst enemy, it's true. But we still possess that precious spark, that fire of life that pushes us to dream and to aid, and to recognize ourselves in each other. And whether or not you bestow your gifts, I will continue to use whatever gifts I possess in humanity's aid, because there is glory in the epic of life and comfort in ensuring it survives." That's 15 points onto worthiness. Who shall we hear from next?
I'd like to hear from Hurrit.
We focus on Hurrit, who is doing his best to hide discomfort, but we can see him shifting his weight from one leg to the other uneasily. It's the moment of decision, and he can only hope that he's prepared his people and himself well enough for this to turn out favorably. He says, "My people are everything to me, and we are as human as anyone, despite our gifts. I don't know how I feel on the worthiness question, but I know that we can be worthy, that humans, given the opportunities we have been given, have the potential to be masterpieces, the masterpieces that I have seen that we have become. And I'd like to see that happen for everyone." That's two more for worthy.
So above table, is every response in their own head, or are these things that we're hearing?
Yeah, I've mulled that over back and forth because I know I'm treating it like people are speaking, but it's internal voices and it's all happening pretty much at the same time.
Ida will go.
All right.
There's a knee-jerk reflex to fight any pull
Mm-hmm.
on their mind. It's probably something that they've practiced with Habfor a lot. But they voluntarily let it go and think, what is worthy? Are we not alive? Do we not exist? Is that not worth enough? My answer is yes. And short and sweet, that's all they have to say.
Five more points to worthy.
I've rolled a d20. Could we hear from Leofstan?
Certainly we may. Leofstan looks uncomfortable here, but that's far from unusual. The trappings of civilization are largely foreign to him, and he always seems out of place among humans and technology, like he never quite fits. But his expression is calm and certain as he speaks up. As one who makes his home and his life among non-human animals, humanity has long been my enemy. I know that I am one of them, but that kinship only makes the differences more obvious. Humanity treats their neighbors, their fellow life on this planet, as resources to be used. They are not worthy. If you want to help advance a species of apes, have you considered bonobos? They're a lot more chill. Five points for not worthy.
Can we hear from Bast?
You may. Bast is in her human form, but the disregard in her expression is distinctly cat-like. Perhaps she is unenthused about these aliens, or this question, or perhaps she's simply being contrary. Her answer, though, when it comes, is direct and focused. She says, "Look, I'm not human, so I don't know if you really need to hear from me at all, but here's how I see it. You folks are responsible for our gifts and our immortality. You gave that to us in a non-consensual and manipulative way, and I don't think that's worthy at all. So if you all are worthy, and it seems like that's what you're saying, I think humanity holds up just fine by those numbers. Ten points for worthy.
Since I was also gonna ask about my main girl Lupita, can we hear from Horace instead?
We sure can. Horace looks distinctly uncomfortable as words are drawn out of him. He doesn't want to say what he is being impelled to say. Look, I want to say, yes, that humanity is worthy of joining the greater galaxy and spreading out into space. I do. I love humanity. I love being human, but over the years, that faith in humanity that was once strong in me has been ground down by war, by genocide, by oppression, by cruelty, by disregard for the harm we do. And in my heart, I know that I cannot say yes. We are not worthy. We are a plague, and the galaxy is better off without us. That's 10 for unworthy.
May we hear from Eadman, please?
Certainly. I keep thinking I've put these alphabetical, but I haven't. Here we go. Eadman stands with his hands in his pockets and appears to be giving the matter deep thought. It takes him a while to speak up, but at length he does. Humanity encompasses everyone I've ever loved, but it also encompasses everyone who's ever tried to tear those people away from me. And the latter is so much greater than the former. On balance, I have to think that humanity is unworthy. 5 more points for unworthy. Where do we go now?
Can we hear from Hippolyta?
Cowards.
Oh, I know exactly who I want to hear from in order. I don't want to give you all a turn. I can just be like pop, 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 pop.
I know none of you are going.
Oh no, I'm not
Cowards.
going to go until we get the big guys up. Biggest numbers first, smallest numbers last.
Hippolyta has always been soft-spoken and difficult to read. She's not deceptive. She just doesn't wear her emotions on the outside very much. When she speaks, it is with a tone of regret. I have met many worthy people in my life, but if I must be honest, I have met far more who merely allow life to happen to them and do no true good in the world. I cannot in good conscience argue for the worthiness of a race like that. They keep promising a future, splendid and graceful, but things just keep getting worse. Where is the promised land? Where is the brave new world? The bright future that is always just around the corner somehow never comes. I wish we were worthy, but we are not. That's 7 for unworthy.
Can I hear from the fashion diva himself, Hermes?
Absolutely. Hermes looks vaguely embarrassed and he shrugs a sort of a what are you gonna do sort of shrug. No. We try to be good, and sometimes we get it right, but it always comes back around again. I could be here for hours and not be done listing the ways we fail each other in our world. So no.
There's one last big number. Loki?
We got 2 big numbers.
Yeah,
Who
there's
else?
2.
We got a few.
Josh.
3, because
Oh,
Josh
yeah,
said 1
Josh.
too.
Who we going
Would you
with?
sit there, Mace? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we can't make Dio go, though. I feel
No,
like,
no.
right?
No, you can make Dio go.
Oh.
You can.
Oh, we
Dio
can-
is an NPC. You can make him go. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Well, we know
Well,
which way
I
those
wanna hear
points are
Dio.
going, but yeah.
We do
I want
know
to
which
see.
way
I
those
want to
points
see
are
this.
going.
We'll do Dio. Let's do Dio. Let's see if his lover agrees.
Yeah, let's keep that white clicker working.
Yeah, right? Dio on his boat in the ocean with his wife fights it, even though there is never going to be a different answer. Once again, he will not be pushed upon by outside forces that did not give him a choice. And even then, his feelings will not allow him to lie. No, absolutely fucking not. Are you kidding me? They've scourged our world and they will come out and scourge the galaxy. So, good idea, don't let it happen.
Who's next?
We want to balance that out with Jesus Christ.
Josh is looking at the alien and its translator hologram with his kind brown eyes. He smiles gently. If I am to look at humanity and judge it, as it seems I must look deep into myself first. And when I look into myself, I find a kaleidoscope of people. I find someone who is fearful, always wary of his security and safety being torn away. I find someone who is loving, never more fulfilled than when helping others. I find someone worn down by the unbearable weight of the years, the weeks, the hours piling endlessly over one another. I find someone who never flags or fails in his hope for the future. I find someone who runs from change and new ideas, and someone who cannot wait for the next opportunity. I see a multitude, and when I look into the eyes of my neighbor, I see that same multitude looking back at me. We have lived through eons working to find a solution to the struggles of all these people inside of us. And knowing all of this, how can I judge? I cannot. I can only tell you that in my heart, I feel a love for and kinship with all of humanity, and I long to see the many expressions of beauty that humanity brings about when we are able to divest ourselves from the scarcity that has defined our existence thus far.
Loki's turn. If we're doing
Loki's
big
turn.
numbers.
Yeah. Where many of your peers here seem uncomfortable or overwhelmed, Loki looks relaxed and ready to answer. He speaks with a calm assurance and not a trace of nerves to be found. He says, I see the truth of things. I see the truth of every person I meet And never in my long life have I found in that truth a single grain of worthiness or unworthiness. You want us to act as though we are quantifying something real, but we are not. We are giving an opinion based on experiences which I also believe you to be somewhat responsible for. Well, I am forced to give my opinion, so I will. I do not see citizenship to be a gift to be rewarded, but a responsibility to be undergone. I believe humanity is worthy of that responsibility on the whole, though I'm sure some of us will abuse it.
Okay. Good.
We're into Hastings and Jelena.
Do we wanna see what Hild has to say?
Hild is seething. Nearly 1,000 years of rage at injustice seems to be rising in her, rage that she has held down for so many lifetimes. When she speaks, her voice is devoid of the usual element of persuasiveness, as though it's being repressed so as to not unduly influence the vote, but there is enough emotion in it to evoke a response nevertheless. She says, "You dare! Who are you to demand our worthiness? You who have watched every disaster and atrocity in our history, and oh yes, I know you have, because you always aim there with your little orbs. You've watched and done nothing. How dare you, when you have never given to humanity when you could? If I saw a chance to do good for another sapient race, I would, and that makes me better than you." And I suppose that also answers the whole worthiness question, doesn't it?
Okay.
Beer wine, please. Unless you want to
Mere
hear
wine,
from
of
Pagan
course.
first. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Mirwine,
I
of
was
course,
just
is
asking.
not here. Oh, we're running over each other.
Sorry. Oh my god. I was just saying, unless it sounded like I just wanted to make sure I didn't cut off Cam, unless you wanted to hear from Pagan first. Okay.
Mirwine's fine.
No.
Mirwine's not here, but the connection through her, it allows her mental voice to be heard. And when it comes, it is as full of distress as you have ever heard. Oh no, I'm part of this. They'll know. They'll all know. Well, there's no getting past it. No, I hate them. I hate them. They treat the world, they treat me as though they own us. They use, they exploit, they destroy. And they don't care that they leave the world behind worse than they left it. They're awful. Anyone but humanity. Was Pagan next?
It's Pagan's turn.
Our camera zooms in on Pagan, who looks thoroughly unimpressed by this whole situation. His arms are crossed in front of him, and there's a glint of anger in his eyes. Is humanity worthy? Well, who the fuck are you to ask? But I suppose I've got to answer. So here's what you get. I've seen evil, true evil, and you can't help but have your faith in humanity shaken once you've seen that. But see, here's what I've figured out. You got to separate human nature from human culture. It's easy to get them mixed up, but once you've been through enough cultures, you can see it if you got your eyes open. So here's what I believe. I believe that if you give us a culture that isn't intrinsically based on hoarding and want and taking, a culture that nurtures us and doesn't use us as cogs in a machine, humanity will be fucking glorious. And I think that's as good as an answer as you're going to get from me.
I think I'm ready.
Anoush?
I have to roll for this. Because Anoush is going to try to resist this.
Yeah.
Now, I have a great will,
Okay.
but I rolled a good.
Ah,
So,
the truth is.
if he had his way, if everything within him wasn't being observed and pried out, Anoush would say yes. Because no matter what his true beliefs are, the opportunity to get these things and like continue his goals about protecting the people he loves and learning about the endlessness of the universe, of course he's going to say yes. But the moment that the neighbors were revealed, when they told everybody their master plan, Anoush started to weep. The fact that these beings gave us such immense power, such great tools to simply survive with, something that, like, in a sense, altruistic, like, not to make something, not to create an entirely new culture or community. No, it was simply to survive and observe. We were given these immense powers. That's not what Anoush would have done with these things. Not when he got it, and not even now growing up to this point. There's always something in the back of his mind that wants more and wants to keep building on these things. And if he takes himself as a barometer, as a measurement of what humanity will do with an infinite amount of resources, that terrifies him. And in this moment, I think he is feeling very humbled and put in his place and cannot help but say no when asked truthfully.
What's the score?
We're 5 up, I think.
Yeah, it was before Anoush. It was 46 no, 56 yes.
So it's all up to y'all.
No pressure.
We're 5 up.
I'll go. Jelena cannot make the resistance. She was never a very willful woman. At least not in any way that mattered. She's going through her whole life and all of the times where she was fighting merely for her right to exist in a way that made her happy, that allowed her to help the people around her without being shunned. She has seen horrendous things throughout history on a personal and global level. And she has seen how they heal afterwards, but a cycle will continue. She can't help but have hope where she sees life through new eyes. Eyes that she helped bring into the world, that see everything with a fresh wonder and curiosity. And humanity is not her children, but they are all someone's children, and they all start with that hope and that curiosity and that drive and that want and those needs and dreams. And she would do anything for her children. And if they can go and explore things that she never even thought imaginable, see horizons beyond anything that would have been possible for them on their own for centuries or millennia, because regardless of what these neighbors think, humanity is progressing and they would have gotten there, with or without them. It is not an easy answer for her because there has been just as much pain as there has been hope. But her answer is yes.
Should let me go first. What do I need to control my
Fantastic.
will? Fantastic. Don't get it the first time, but Habfor would like to re-roll with my one fate point.
Yeah,
Using his aspect, what is worthy.
I think that's an excellent aspect to use, yes.
And that'll do it. What's, I think it's 2 above superb.
It's either epic or fantastic, but either way, you've got it.
Yeah, I think it's, no. Because the question is not generally, is humanity worthy? It's specifically, is humanity worthy of inclusion into the Galactic Federation? And the answer is no. Because we are worth more than that. We're worth more than this game you've played. And we deserve to be left alone.
You know, I don't know how to click that. I'm going to call that a no. But nonetheless, if we look at our counters, we have 56 not worthy, 61 for worthy. There is a silence after the last voice fades, and then the alien begins to rub its legs together, and strange staccato cello sound comes across the room. It's hard to interpret the body language of an alien, but the way it waves its central limbs looks excited or perhaps agitated. The translator speaks. It is decided. Humanity shall have galactic citizenship. In approximately 5 of your years, a branch of the Galactic Library will arrive for your planet to use. It contains information on the races of the Orion Spur and all the collected knowledge and technology therein. With this knowledge, you will be able to operate and alter the technology within your own bodies. However, if any of you wish yours to be deactivated at this time, we have the ability to do so now. Merely speak the wish, and it will be done. And now, you have a chance to interact with the alien, but your time is limited. After a certain amount of time, it will disappear, and you will have no further chances to speak with it. I am not going to tell you how long that is, so make what you say or ask count.
Can I read its mind?
No, because it's not actually here.
Years from now, or maybe in this moment, but years ago, I was able to intercept the signal that one of the bots, you nanobots, whatever you want to call it, you put into us was I was able to intercept the signal and speak to ourselves in the past. Do you have any recollection of that, and why did you stop it?
The alien bounces up and down a little bit on its legs and then starts to communicate. And the translator's program says, "We have no knowledge of this. You may tell us more if you wish. We are interested in hearing how this was come to be."
Can you move through time?
Temporal engineering is a blooming technology. It is possible to move through time. We have not done so here.
Interesting.
Are all citizens treated equal in this federation?
Yes, all citizens are given equality under the law, and all have a certain set of rights which are guaranteed.
Has anybody ever left the Confederacy?
No member races have left. However, some individuals have made themselves independent of it.
What are the
What
punishment for
happened?
breaking the?
Go ahead.
Go
Cam.
ahead. What are the
Yeah,
punishments?
we keep.
We
We're
can
done.
laugh.
We're done. I'm gonna go. Goodbye forever. Cam, you go. Go.
What are the punishments for breaking the rules of this federation?
Punishments are determined by the member races. They know best what is best for their people.
No, I mean, what if I killed you right now? What would happen?
It bounces up and down and waves its arms a little bit. If you were to kill me, it would be a crime among your people, would it not?
So there's no enforcement of any laws through the Federation. It is purely our race's decision.
Correct. We do not enforce laws on other races. We merely agree to a set of standards as we join together and share our resources and information.
Interesting. I'm sorry, Ida, did you have something to say?
Who? If time travel is a blooming field, as you say, how did you choose which of us became the observers? Was it just happy accident?
Some were simply in the place where our I never thought of a thing to call them, where our spheres landed. Uh, some were carefully chosen to have the likelihood of a beneficial ability that would help you survive throughout the ages.
So has there been somebody here watching us for those opportune moments? Or did you send these spheres back through time?
We have looked ahead as best we could. The ability is limited, but we were able to some extent to program how things would go.
What do you call these creations that you have designed to give us our abilities?
If I were to tell you the name that we give, it would mean nothing to you. It is, and it makes a little noise with its legs. You may call it what you wish, and it will translate to what I would say in my mind.
It's just, I feel like it's good to know the source. Do you use these?
We do.
You yourself, do you use these?
Correct.
What do yours do?
And here, as it is starting to answer, it starts to flicker a little bit. So, just to know, that may be a signal that things are coming to an end. But it says, for I myself, I have a lengthened time of life as you do. I have protection from the elements. I have all of the same benefits and perks that it has given to you, it gives to us as well, and a certain amount of power that matches with what is required. In my case, it is a musical power that allows me to interpret music in a, well, more active way. It would be difficult to explain.
When the library is here, we were offered a choice in this moment. When the library is here, will we be able to do the same when it comes to abdicating?
Anyone may abdicate, and we do not deny the benefits of the library to those who have done so. And I'm going to give y'all one more question.
If nobody else, the question I want to ask is why they specifically were designed to like vet us. But if y'all have a better question, I've asked a
I
lot.
feel like that question is just going to lead to more questions, though.
What about if this is a galactic, like this isn't just one race of species, if this is a multi-species?
We know that it is.
Do we? We've only ever heard of the cricket people. But I mean, I know
Other-
the galactic. I mean the people doing this to us. Like the people that have done this. Is this just this cricket people? Are we okay with asking that question?
That's why I think I'm trying to ask questions that we won't get an answer to when we like get the library and we get like all the information of the universe. I think like one of those is like, hey, who's in like, why was these people specifically, or are this race the only race that were a part of our vetting, or something like that?
I mean, is there anybody else that has anything that they? I mean, there's really not much to know at this point. I don't. Ida doesn't care, but it's like, all right, Ida. So Ida would, before you go, are you part of a multi-species vetting process, or is it only yourselves that are the harbingers of this invitation?
And why?
Uh, um, the alien speaks up and is translated to say, while there are other races in the uh, Confederation, the vetting process that you speak of was taken by our race as we were the ones to find you. And with that, there is a buzz, and the machine that you created sparks, and the program deactivates. The images
No.
go away.
Anoush rushes to
No,
the machine and like tries to fiddle with it.
Anoush.
it is blackened on the inside from the fire that is starting to erupt inside of it.
Jelena excuses herself from the room and is ill in the washroom.
I've waited so long for that moment. It was a club. Our life was all to join a club. We changed the world to join a club.
What life is? Yes, isn't that what life is?
I guess.
Countries, unions. We made a whole island. We just made clubs. Yes, Anoush, that is what this is about. It is about living.
I just hoped that
You
once
hoped that
we
you were
figured
something
all of
bigger
this-
and better and more important. Yes, we know, Anoush. We know that you wanted to be the big important person.
He gives Ida a hug.
They hug him back, and it's like they're very stern and all that, but they're like, they know. They know that he had this big. There's like Ida looks over at Habfor. Check on Jelena.
Are my kids here?
Did you bring them?
I think we would have.
Then yeah.
I think after probably while you guys were doing that would have walked away with his kids.
Good. I would like a point of clarification about my powers.
Yeah.
Sarah, I am able to understand and speak all languages, both human and bestial.
Correct.
Could I understand the cricket?
You could not.
Interesting. I know they weren't there, but we have confirmed that I can turn into things based off of a drawing.
Yes.
Harken back to Hastings, where I turned into a fucked up bear. So am I able to now shift into one of these creatures?
If you wish, yes.
Perfect. Awesome.
Noted. I think there's one point of business left before we wait 5 years for this library. Future Anoush said we made the wrong choice. How can we prepare if this is the wrong choice? And what would that look like?
You're too focused. There is the only preparation is living and seeing. We will get this library. This library will have quite a lot of information. Some of us may choose to step away. And until that time, nothing changes. Nothing has changed.
Mm-hmm.
We will wait
Mm-hmm.
and we will watch.
Yes.
We're at an observatory, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
What time was this?
It's midday.
Think, Anoush and Ida were talking. Habfor took his kids to wherever the nearest landing, view, scenic viewpoint,
Mm-hmm.
and tells them he'll be right back, and goes and finds Jelena. Oof. What's up, champ? Sprig up some mint?
If you got a piece handy, I'd appreciate it.
I thought you were like poison ivy. And he pulls out some homemade gum that Jelena makes for him.
Thank you.
What's wrong?
There was no even under the compulsion, I still don't know if I made the right choice. And there's no taking it back. And I don't know if I would. I'm drowning in doubt at the moment, and I want to be happy, and I want to scream.
Well, Phil, very much the same. I don't know what was right or not, and all the way up until the end. Maybe that's why, for the first time since that day in Hastings, I offered very little counsel or opinion on which way we should go, because I don't know what the right answer is. Because maybe this is the greatest thing that could happen to humanity. Maybe we, right, with a new pecking order and structure and resource scarcity being wiped out, we can move towards a better place. Or maybe these colonizers call their missions libraries. Who knows? But what I do know is that we got 5 years and a lot of family, a lot of dinners. Linda 4 may retire. And if you want to scream and be happy, I could lock the door in this bathroom real quick and we can knock that out. Gives her a very wry smile.
I feel bad for your adult children. I feel awful for your adult children.
But if not, our kids are waiting at the viewpoint. I could stay with you or give you as long as you need.
As much as I would appreciate your first offer. I think maybe we should all be together.
Let's go. He wipes her tears, gives her a kiss on the forehead, takes her hand, and leads her out.
And so, with the worthiness of humanity confirmed, the 5-year wait begins. How will the empowered and the rest of the world spend the intervening years in preparation for the return of the neighbors? Join us next Tuesday and find out. From everyone at Streaming Rainbow, stay safe and take care of each other, and know that you, with all of your flaws and fears, are worthy. Bye now.
And I'll see you next Tuesday.
Hell yeah.